when I'm mounted, okay, the first one I like to go for is fists and hips, and I'll explain why. So if I'm mounted, and let's say I try to push him off that way, I'm still mounted. It's going to be a lot of work. What happens is a lot of time these big guys especially, they just want to bench press people up, so they're like, and like nothing happens. I waste all this energy and he's still mounted. Why is he still mounted? Porter, why are you still mounted?
I'm still mounted because I have my hands.
And
my hips.
And his hips. Mount is rooted at the hips. But just like I talked about in closed guard, is we see our opponent, and so we want to attack our opponent. Right? We want to push him away and we want to go after him. But that's not where my opponent stems from. My opponent stems from the hips. All right? And so just like we talked about in closed guard a little bit, I want to make fists, I want to find his hips, I want to push him and shrimp my hips out. The reason I'm doing that is if I push his hips off of me, that's when the mount starts to alleviate. I get pressure. Real quick, let me check. Okay, good. As I push his hips off, that's when I get alleviation of pressure and I can start working my legs back in the picture. The whole idea is to get my legs back in the fight, back in the picture, okay? So, once I get my legs back in the fight, it's a guard, not a mount. And my ability to defend myself and progress goes way up, okay? So, I'm trying to find his hips. So, if his posture's up like this, I'm going to make fists, I'm going to find his hips, I'm going to start pushing, just like this. And the reason I'm doing that is not to necessarily overpower him, but now as I start to scoot my hips away, go ahead and try and keep following me. He can't follow me. You see, so I move my body. We need to be very good at that shrimping motion where my butt's moving out from underneath him. Okay? If I'm just trying to keep my head away from him, my hips aren't going anywhere. It doesn't matter how much fists and hips I do. I need to actually start moving that shrimping motion with my butt out. Sound good? So I get to my closed guard, and then I can start working on my sweep. And then bam, I'm in a mount, and now I can start going for my Americanas, arm bars, and back takes to choke. Okay? So that's how I escape mount if he's in good posture. Fists and hips, push, shrimp out to closed guard. And we talked about that, so we're going to move on. So the other one is if he's compromised, right? And what I mean compromised is posture. So like if he's down here trying to go for a choke, or he's trying to go for an Americana, whenever his posture is down, is where I'm going to try to do the table method, right? He's got 4 legs at a table. I'm going to try and cut one table leg off and push him towards that, just the same way we do for sweeps. So if he hugs my head, for example, well, he's already trapped his arm on his own, so I'm just going to keep it from moving. I'm going to bump and roll him. I can use this arm if I need to, but I'm going to lift his head up over that way. Notice, real quick, stay here. Notice how I'm using my hips, boom, using my hips to throw him up. Okay, now come back to mount. So if he's mounted, I'm going to boom, arm trap roll, okay? And it's going to get more sophisticated. So even if he's way in here, he's hugging my head really tight so I can't even talk, right? And he's trying to smash my head. I'm going to make him block his posting arm, boom, and now I'm out of here, okay? And if he's got me in closed guard, man, you watch the closed guard, we know all the different breaks to closed guard, right? All these different things. So we're starting to build this all together. So now, mounted, fists and hips to closed guard. If he's down, arm trap, roll. If he's going for an Americana, we already talked about this a little bit. If I just move my arm, he's going to follow my arm and get the submission, okay? But if I grab his bicep, he can't follow my arm anymore. I'm going to grab his head and arm. I'm going to bump him always towards the arm that I've trapped. Now that I've gotten here, I can go back to my closed guard offense, or rather closed guard passing, okay? And go through that entire series that we've already talked about. We're going to talk about it from this angle. All right? So I'm going to make fists, I'm going to push, I'm going to shrimp out, I'm going to start getting my legs back in for some type of guard. All right? Fists and hips to close guard, or fists and hips to some kind of guard. Fists and hips, perfect for moving his hips off of me, derooting his guard, or uprooting his guard rather, and making it difficult for him to maintain this position. If he's got his posture broken, right, and he's trying to control my upper body, this is why I'm going to go back, break the arm, and roll him. Okay, now I'm going to do that with different angles. So fists and hips, shrimping out. All right, let's start getting my closed guard back. All right, or he's going for the Americana. Boom, grab his bicep, punch straight, hug, and I always go towards the arm that I've trapped. Now, we need to start combining these. Don't just go for one and then be done. Sound good? So, for example, if he's postured up, for example, I'm trying to do a fist in the hips and it's not working. It's not working. Well, I might bump him, make him post. Now I can trap and roll. Okay? So let's say I start going for a fist and hips to close guard, but he grabs the back of my head to maintain mount. So, now he's compromised, and now I can arm trap and roll. That was good. So we have an arm trap roll when their posture is compromised, and we have a fist and hips and closed guard, right? And we combine those two. Don't just do one. Make sure that you're doing a really good job of, if you're really stuck and you feel like one's not working, go back and forth between the two. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, now I'm going to just show you a few different caveats for when they're doing different types of guards, okay? So, we already talked a lot about fists and hips and closed guard and arm trap rolling. Those are two great defenses to get out of mount. And you're going to learn a bunch as we go, but I promise you 90-something% of the escapes from mount that I get are a form of fists and hips where I'm stopping their hips and I'm moving my own hips, or an arm trap roll where I'm moving their hips over me. It's one of the two, and I just go back and forth until one of them works. So now, let's say he's doing a high mount, or even an S mount, it doesn't matter, where my arms feel trapped here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little earthquake, and I'm going to walk my head away from him. I know I'm not going to be strong enough to push him down, so I'm just going to try to frame my arms down, and then I'm going to move my body this way. So, boom. And now, since I created that seatbelt and frame, he wasn't able to follow me, and I wiggle myself back to a regular mount. Let's do it again down there. Let's go. Yeah, let's scooch down. So he gets to a high mount. Oh, that sucks, right? So what I need to do is be pushing down and wiggling my head up this way. So go ahead and hold it really tight, Porter. So he's holding me down here. I'm going to wiggle. And now I'm in the regular mount, and now I'm going to start doing my fists and hips to close guard. Make sense? This even works for S mount. So when he gets an S mount, go ahead and get an S mount. Boom. So now I'm like, oh, this sucks. He's going to get an arm bar. What I like to do, even though his leg's here, that's totally fine. And notice he's got his foot all the way around to the other side. And the one I showed had the foot next to the ear. That's totally fine. I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to push. I'm going to wiggle. Right? And now he's even in a more weird scenario because his leg's stuck under me now. All right, go back to a regular S mount. So, right here. Yep. And so I'm going to push down as I wiggle myself back. And now I'm in a regular mount that I can start working out of. Okay? I'm going to show it once from the side. So let's scooch to the side. Just get regular mount. So I'll go high mount rather. So he gets high mount. So watch how I move my body that way while holding his body here. And even on big guys, this will work because you're moving yourself. You're not trying to move them. Okay? And since you have access to your hips, it's going to work. Or you have a higher percentage of it working. Okay. So now, you're good. I'm just finishing up. So now let's say he's grapevining my legs. So yeah, he's got my legs grapevine. Oh, this is no good. What I want to do is I want to bring my leg over to help my other leg. Okay? That's the first option. But Coach Chad, he's too strong. Okay, I can't do it. So then I'm going to walk my foot over. And that's going to give me a lot more capabilities to get this out. Okay? Now let's say he's too strong for even that. So I can't even walk my foot. That's fine. I'm going to create tension. I'm going to create tension. So he's going to be holding my legs apart. I'm going to create tension. And I'm just going to kick my leg straight. And then stop over. And then start getting my leg out for a mount. And now I'm in regular mount where I can start doing my arm trap rolls and even wrapping up his legs. So I'm going to show from a different angle now. So he's got me in a grapevine. Right? So this sucks. I can't do anything about it. Right? I'm trying to bring my legs together to stop. Boom. Okay? Now he's too strong where I can't even bring my legs together. So I'm going to walk my foot to the other foot and assist my other foot. Now, he's too strong where I can't even walk my foot. So I'm going to create tension by trying to squeeze my knees together and then kick out, stomp, and then start working my escapes. Sound good? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show now one last one. So go ahead and get the one where you have the legs locked underneath my butt. Okay, so how do I get out of this? Right now my legs can't even go on the ground very well to arm trap roll and stuff. Oh, this isn't going very good for me. So what I just need to do is it's kind of like a still fist and hips. So I'm going to grab his hips, I'm going to bring my feet to the ceiling, all right? I'm going to shake him off like a skinny pair of jeans, all right? This is a skinny jeans escape. So he's going to be applying a bunch of pressure, and I'm like stuck, so my legs are up like this because he applied a lot of pressure. So I'm going to move my butt up and push his hips out and get my legs back involved. I can go to a closed guard or any other type of guard. One more time with my head facing this way. All right, I tell the kids, it's like taking off skinny jeans, okay? So he's got my legs stuck in here. My legs are going to go forward. I'm going to push him up. Okay? One more time. All right, so I'm stuck right here. He's got to lift my legs up. Oh, this sucks right here. I can't do anything about it. And I can't do a fist and hips. So I'm going to lift my legs up, boom, and push him straight up. Sound good? One more time from this angle. He's going to lock my legs up. Legs are going to the ceiling, so I can't do the normal thing. So rather than fist and hips where I can't push him down, I'm going to lift my hips up and push him up. Get my legs in. So now we have quite a few submissions for mount, quite a few escapes for mount, and how to do non-traditional mounts as well as escape from non-traditional mounts. So, good to go.